How will the electricity bill be a game changer for the power sector in the next 25 years as India turns 100 by 2047? Listen in to R.K. Singh, Minister of Power and New and Renewable Energy, as he speaks to us at the BT India at 100 Summit on India's plans for new energy.
Power is a critical element which will take us to 2047 in the manner in which the government and all of us aspire to. Yet, there is this view that whether power as electricity is something which can be given away without a cost to people, a section of people, or whether there should be something which should be charged like an economic benefit, as all economic benefits are charged. First off, we'd like to hear from you what is your thought, what is the government's thinking on this?
The fundamental thing is that nothing is free. Electricity is not free. It costs money to generate electricity. You need coal, you have to pay for it. You have workers in thermal power plants, they need to be paid. You have workers in transmission lines, people have spent money, invested money in setting up transmission lines, they need to get paid. It's not free. Somebody has to pay for it. Even if you are going to renewable energy, you have to spend money to buy PVs and set it up, buy inverters, set it up. It's not free. Now the question is who pays for it? As far as I am concerned, I mean, if somebody pays for it, bluntly, I don't mind whether it's the government which pays for it or whether, the government charges the consumers for it. But I'll give you a picture. It is either the taxpayer which is paying for it. That means it's going from the budget. That means all of us are paying, all of you are paying. Or the consumer is paying. So that is one question which you have to ponder upon. It's not Mr. Kejriwal or XY, I don't want to take names. It's not the Neta, who says that I'll give free 300 units or 500 units, who's paying for it from his pocket. He's not doing it from his pocket. And it's your money. So that is one. I'll give you another aspect. The other aspect is, today our consumption is about 1,450 billion units annually. At the rate our rate of growth is good, which is great. Now that also indicates that our economy is growing. Now at this rate of growth, my consumption, our country's consumption in 2030 will be 2,900 billion units, more than double now. My established capacity today is 404 gigawatts. In 2030, it will have to be 820 gigawatts. That means we have to add about 400 gigawatts between now and 2030. That's an average of about 50 gigawatts per year. Now, currently, no bank is willing to lend for setting up generating stations, especially in the conventional generating stations. You know why? The banks lost almost 60 to 70,000 crores when generating assets got stressed. You would be aware of it. The knowledgeable people would be aware of it. Many generating companies went to NCLT, and the banks lost 60 to 70,000 crores. Now today we are in a similar situation. The outstanding dues, outstanding payables by distribution companies to generation companies is 110,000 crores. 1,10,000 crores. And that is because the outstanding payables by the state governments to their distribution companies is 1,30,000 crores. So no money is coming to the generation companies for the power. No money was coming. I have taken remedial steps. So now it will come. So no money was coming to the generation companies for the power supplied because the state governments were not paying the distribution companies for the subsidies which they announced. The outstanding out of this 130,000 crores, 135,000 crores, 76,000 crores is outstanding against state governments on account of subsidies which they have announced, which they have forced their distribution companies to pass on, which they have not recompensed. About 62,000 crores is payable by the state government departments to the distribution companies for the power which they have drawn. So, if this thing continues, no capacity will be added. If no capacity is added, we shall be in a state worse than Sri Lanka, because the growth will continue till it comes to a halt. Why will it come to a halt? It will come to a halt because you can't have growth without electricity. You can't have industry without electricity. Now you can't have anything without electricity. Everything runs on electricity. So you won't have growth. And of course you'll have blackouts. So that's from this end. Analysis, global analysis. You look at it from the point of view of the state governments. Now, most of the state governments, barring 3-4, and you can count them on your fingers, barring 3-4 states, most of the states are revenue deficit. That means their revenue receipts, whatever their own taxes, the state share of central taxes, all that combined, does not meet their committed expenditure today. So they have to borrow to meet even their committed expenditure, which is salaries, pensions, repayment of loans which had been taken in the past, repayment of interest and principal. So for everything they have to borrow. Now if they are going with a freebie, they are borrowing money and giving a freebie. Now if you borrow money and invest it in assets which give a return, then that can go to pay off the loan. If you borrow money for consumption, you all run households. Think about it. You borrow money and you consume, what will happen? So that's the other angle.